Hello, my name is Caleb Leger,
And I'm Josh Allred.
and welcome to another episode of First Thoughts. All right, today we will be talking about the upcoming Screambox exclusive Here for Blood, a movie we had the privilege to check out and both watch and look forward to talking about tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you to Alex DiVincenzo, who's the publicist over at Screambox, for getting in touch with me based on what I perceived to be a little throwaway comment. So yeah, thanks Alex, thanks Screambox, and everyone at Bloody Disgusting for giving us the opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. I was not expecting this news when you told me. For those who don't know, Screambox is a horror streaming service, kind of like Shudder. They're a little bit more in their early years, I would say. But they have some real good stuff. That's how they were actually kind of they helped get us Terrifier 2. For those who remember the phenomenon that was that when it came out. They picked it up, got it out there. They're currently working on Terrifier 3. But they do a lot of cool stuff. And if you're looking for something outside of Shudder, they got some good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I've been using Screenbox in tandem with Shutter. That was what I watched Onyx, the Fortuitous, and the Talisman of Souls on. And there's a lot of interesting stuff that they've got floating around there. They've got like their own live channel and a bunch of other cool stuff. They also put out the Japanese remake of Cube, which I saw and thoroughly enjoyed. So yeah, uh, being the horror fans that we are, you can never get too much of a good thing. And Shutter, Screenbox, they're definitely a good thing when it comes to having options for horror streaming.
Yeah, and as you like to always point out, my loyalty to Play Disgusting. I should be wearing my beanie, but I'm not right now. But
I think he needs to be removed from your Christmas card list, guys.
nope,
Clearly not the fan that he thinks he is.
we
Uh,
are inside right now. That's why I'm not wearing it.
you're also shaved, freshly shaved, so and it's wintertime. I thought you'd want to, keep a little warmth in, but I
I'll
guess
worry
not.
about that later. I don't think things through.
uh, has been evidenced by so many of your life choices.
Okay, let's not go down that route. Another film before we talk about this one to check out on Screenbox Likes if you haven't watched it yet. Shaky Shivers.
I actually haven't watched that.
That one's really good. I checked it out when I was doing my quick catch up on 2023 releases for our yearly countdown thing we did for Filmgazm podcast, and that was one of the ones on my list to check out. And I watched it was a lot of fun. It's directed by Sung Kane. I think is how you pronounce his name. He is Han in the Fast and Furious films for those who don't know, but he directed and it was a lot of fun.
Sweet. I'll
Hmm?
have to use your phrase. Add it to my list.
I have no idea what you're talking about. But all right, let's talk about Here for Blood. So this was I look with this we don't have too much on the production, but this was a nice little film that makes a little bit of, like, it looked like wrestling with horror and comedy. Added a lot of elements to create this quick little plot of a woman. This lady needs a backup for babysitting, so she enlists the help of her boyfriend, who is a amateur wrestler, because she needs to do some studying for this big quiz. He, being the gentleman that he is, helps his girlfriend out and goes babysits this kid, and chaos ensues from there.
Yeah, I mean, what could be a very simple premise in a guy just trying to make as much money as he can. Anybody that's familiar with the wrestling business, you know that these guys are traveling from town to town, or getting their ass kicked for pocket change, and they do a lot of the funding themselves. They take care of themselves. They manage their own uniforms and all of that stuff. And there's a scene very early on that kind of establishes what's going on with Tom, and kind of seeing that he is desperate for money because he just isn't getting where he thinks he is, and quickly he's going to come to regret that decision. Like Caleb said, chaos does ensue, and I did enjoy how things were kind of set up with you know things kind of just peeling back slowly until everything explodes. People are getting barbecued on stovetops, and we also get a very wonderful cameo by D. Snyder. Anybody that knows me and has listened to the podcast knows I love D. Snyder, and I'm a big Strangeland fan. So even though he's only got one line that he repeats throughout the movie, he's definitely giving it his all. I would have loved to have seen kind of what his recording sessions were like, because we all know the guy can scream.
Oh yeah, it actually I forgot the part I was like, oh, D. Snyder's in this, and I forgot, and I was like, is he what I'm thinking he is? And I looked at him, I was like, yeah, that's him. Okay, nice. Um, Very funny little way they got him put into the movie, I thought, and yeah, I like a lot of films like this where they start one way, and again, we're not going to spoil too much because um, this is being done in advance of the film's release, but I like when they start out simple and they just slowly peel back the layers because you think it's going in one direction, but then it goes in another. Now, sometimes that can backfire. I've seen plenty of films where I'm like, oh boy, not the movie I wanted, and what you're giving me is not that great. But then you got ones that it works really well. To me, this being kind of one of those cases where it works really well, where you're like, you're invested in these characters. I actually thought, I thought our main character was very relatable. I mean, he's this hulking amateur wrestler, way better shape than I'll ever be in my lifetime. Um, but he's a very, he's a sympathetic character. You get behind him, and you kind of think like at first, like I kind of want to see him and the kid bond, and as it goes on, you just become more and more invested, and it does take directions that kept me interested. Going, okay, I have no idea where this is going anymore. Let's find out. I'm in for the ride.
Oh yeah, definitely. I really liked kind of how they were kind of set up right at the initial meeting. You're kind of getting the idea that like Tom isn't really invested in this. He's just there to get a quick $100 and be done with it. And I I definitely wasn't expecting the turns that this movie took. And that's not to say that I wasn't satisfied with where this movie went. I was very satisfied with it, especially when the gloves came off and things really just got cranked up to 11. Anybody that's listened to me on this podcast, you guys know I love a good party movie. And a lot of things that I saw on Letterboxd were saying exactly that. And if I'm not mistaken, this movie actually won an award at Fright Fest, I'm sorry, the Toronto After Dark Film Festival, calling it the best film to watch with a crowd. I mean, if you don't get any other endorsement from us, this is total party movie territory. Even though I watched it by myself, it gave me that feeling of the kind of movie that I like to show to people. Something that is not going to end the way it starts, because I do like to surprise people a little bit, and this movie definitely surprises you. You're not thinking it's going to go as far as it does, and it absolutely does that. And I really, really enjoyed that. Like, there's some stuff in here that I was not expecting, and I thoroughly enjoyed the way they made use of the practical effects in this as well. Are there any kind of like effects that you really enjoyed? I mean, other than obviously the wonderful puppetry for D. Snyder as the head.
I enjoyed everything that happened to that one dude that never died. The effects, every time they did something to him, were fantastic. From like the stovetop to like his fingers, I was dying every time something else happened to him.
Yeah. Funny enough, because of what happens to him, I was like looking through the cast list and stuff. The guy's name is Bernie. So take that as a hint, if you will, people. with some other stuff I just said. Um, I think another thing I really enjoyed about this is kind of how this movie, like, although it's a contemporary movie, it has a lot of these little like throwbacks to 80s and 90s like direct to video movies. The kind of thing you would see on the shelf, you look at the cover art and you're like, here for blood? Yeah, I'm here to have fun. Let's do this. Um, and you're not going to be disappointed. Everybody that's talked to me or heard me blab about movies knows that my cardinal sin of any movie is to be boring. Here for Blood is not boring, not at all. They do some good setups with some of the jokes that come later on, and I also love a character that doesn't die. Like it reminds me so much of like Cannibal the Musical, where Swan never dies throughout the entire thing, and you're just like you're waiting for the joke to end, and the joke just never ends. And that was a very welcome little addition to kind of for somebody making a movie and you have a lot of references in your head for what you want the movie to be like or kind of what your inspirations were. You can pack too many things in, and I don't think this movie suffered from that so much. And I can't really recommend this thing enough. I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was worried that maybe like as it kept going, they kept introducing more stuff. I was like, ooh, this is gonna be a victim of like too much. But to me, the movie does a great job of hitting that line and then never crossing it. In the sense of like it never does too much; it does just the right amount throughout the whole movie to make you go, oh, okay, yeah, I'm on board. I did get such a laugh out of the recurring joke of Tom constantly needing a beer.
Well, look, what one of us has ever babysat a child and not felt like, damn, I need a beer right now. And not only that, it was like the cure for all of his wounds. Like if this guy could have been a video game character, that would have been the way to restore his health, is for him to crack another beer so he could go out and continue fighting. Like that to me was like another little high point for the humor in this movie. Like all the guy wants is to drink some beers, eat some pizza, and just let this little girl Grace play video games all night long and walk out with an easy $100.
Yeah, and I can't have sex. I babysit your kids. And while they're great, I needed a beer at the end, but then I fell asleep because I was very tired.
How dare you? My children are sweet angels.
They are.
They would never drive anyone under their care to drink. And
I'm just saying.
You and I are going to have a fight offline.
I'm just saying.
I will suplex you so hard.
I will fart if I have to get you off me. I will unleash what's necessary.
Is that like your defensive mechanism? You're just gonna fucking turn around and stick your ass in the air like fucking Chaos from fucking Primal Rage? Yes, I did just make a Primal Rage reference. Thank you very much. If you didn't get it, go to YouTube. Check it out.
I will do that. I will absolutely do that. It's my defense mechanism.
And it's at this point in our little recording that I'll remind all the ladies listening, he's single.
I'm a catch. Except, yeah, no, I'm a catch. I'm going to leave it at that. But, I said no offense. The kids were great, but I was so dead at the end of the day.
You can't Ricky Bobby me about my kids.
I will Ricky Bobby you about your kids.
With all due respect, go fuck yourself.
With all due respect, I will later. Now, there's no easy way to segue out of that one. So, on that note,
okay, so anybody that is uses Rotten Tomatoes as a barometer for whether or not you're going to go see something, it's currently roughly holding around like 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's getting lots of praise from outlets like Film Threat and Daily Dead. You're Here's my thing. I grew up in the age of the video store and things like that, and you weren't always given the luxury of having so many choices. You're literally at the mercy of what was on the shelves, and the fact that we have places like Screambox to go to for new, undiscovered, or long lost films to get your eyeballs on for the first time. Just go in, take a chance. Um, what is it gonna hurt? I pay like $5-6 a month for Screenbox. Easily worth the money.
Mm-hmm.
Easily worth the money. And the fact that Bloody Disgusting and Screenbox got Terrifier 2 out in theaters, and we could go and sit and enjoy it with a bunch of other horror lovers. That only speaks to the, I don't want to use the phrase golden age, but I think we're in a really good place for new, exciting, and outrageous movies that you would only find on the shelf of your local mom and pop. And it's, how can you go wrong with something like that? Like you really just owe it to yourself to just go out, take a chance, pop something on, and you might be surprised. I always enjoy that about these things, and I didn't realize it at the time. When I was digging through the cast list and stuff, like Sean Roberts was in 2 George Romero movies. Like he was in Diary of the Dead and Land of the Dead.
I didn't know that. It's been so long since I've watched either one of those
Yeah,
particular entries.
he was the special effects guy in Diary of the Dead, and
Mm.
he has certainly taken care of himself, getting all beefcaked up for this. He was also in a few of the Resident Evil movies, so there you go.
Was he Wesker?
No, I don't think he was Wesker. I think he
No.
was someone else. I don't remember exactly what character it was. But
I've
that was just
seen I've
because,
seen all the films, but they get blurry in my mind after a while.
well, I mean, they all do kind of become the same movie, but
Yeah. No offense to anyone that likes. I like the first 3. After that, I kind of fell off the bandwagon myself. Um, yeah, no, it was because of the 1-2 punch of Terrifier 2 and then the Outwaters that made me go, I'm signing up for this service. Because I don't think Outwaters was playing near us, so unfortunately I did have to like watch it at home. But I remember in a weird way that was the best option for that film. In a weird way because I think I waited till I was like alone, so I had all the lights off and like the soundbar cranked up, so I could really experience it. And I really enjoyed it. Terrifier 2, like I said, we got to see in theater. Unfortunately, just because of scheduling, I know we had to watch at different times. But I got lucky myself with a good crowd and a responsive crowd. So I had a lot of fun with that. And yeah, that's what made me sign up. And I'm with you. What I like about a lot of these films, and I think I want to, when you say that golden age and people kind of turning into films like Terrifier 2, even like Outlaws or Here for Blood, and they're turning up and showing up for these kind of films and the whole Rotten Tomatoes of it all, which I just say is sites people that grew up loving this stuff being old enough to register for that site and finally get their say and hope those, because we kind of saw that with Saw X and Thanksgiving last year with their like 80% something scores they had. But me and Connor talk about it on when we do our first thoughts for all the big release films that come out. And one very recent example is that Argyle movie I saw, which is tracking the tank bad. And they spent like $200 million on the movie. Audiences, I feel like, in general, are kind of getting tired of the same old shtick from studios. They're starting to kind of smell and go like, we don't need the same thing. And I mentioned to Connor, like, you watch a $200 million movie, well, I can tell the action scenes are CGI. Like, it's not like I can tell it. I'm not even looking for it. I'm trying to get immersed in the movie. You watch something like this, yeah, it's made for significantly less, but you can tell they're putting more heart into it, more passion into it, and it shows in the end product. And I think we're seeing people respond to that more. That's why things like Terrifier 2 were such a huge hit. Outlaws became a big thing. Now this, Onyx became a big hit. Like, you're seeing people respond to people that care when they make these films, as opposed to like, let's watch this studio thing that the studio we know at least probably doesn't care. I can't really speak on behalf of the actors and directors for these projects, The studio doesn't really give a shit. The studio's like, just pump out the same thing that makes money. We'll figure it out later. And then it doesn't make money, and they go, what the fuck happened? But then things like this get a response from people, and it's like, well, because again, they respond to the passion, to the enjoyment that they had making the film. It shows through.
So, are you willing to go on record and say that Argyle tanked because they wouldn't let Henry Cavill dress as the Witcher?
They needed more Henry Cavill in the wig, and I stand by it. I am still mad he is not the Witcher. Don't get me started on that.
So, once again, ladies, he is single and he will go absolutely mental talking about his love for Henry Cavill. Just know that you will be second in that hierarchy.
I'm just saying, look at him with the long flowing hair. If he doesn't look like this in the Highlander reboot, I swear to God.
All right, okay, so to kind of go back to what you're talking about with films that don't really have the gobs and gobs of cash that most studio movies seem to have, just lying around in the couch cushions to go make movies. I do think that's one of the stronger points of movies like Here for Blood and Terrifier 2. The fact that you can see that all of the money that the movie had is on screen. It's put there for the enjoyment of the people that are going to be watching this. And I really enjoyed that. Like, it's a simple enough premise. You've got basically one location. You've got a house out in the woods somewhere. That's a nice, big, fancy, wonderful house. And you've got some rich, yuppie-ass parents who may or may not be in a cult. I'm not going to say that they are or are not. I'll just leave that to you to decide. But, like, that one location has been used to wondrous effect with setting up this nice little remote area for a lot of chaos to ensue. I didn't really find myself, getting bogged down with asking too many questions, because, like, you have, on the face of it, your main character is an amateur wrestler who is, taking a side gig as a babysitter just to make sure he's got a couple $100 to get some new spandex or whatever.
Yeah. Which I love that the film makes jokes about that constantly. Like, oh, he's babysitting?
Yeah. No, well, I mean, you see these kinds of movies. If this was done another way, it would have been just, a girl asking her friend to cover for her. And then when things go crazy, you're having the inevitable struggle of the girl fighting off the bad guys and this and that. But, like, this movie asks you, like, well, what if the babysitter can bench press a Buick? What's going to happen to these bad guys? They thought they had an easy night ahead of them. Now they have to worry about getting clotheslined. And like I said, like, there's actually one scene in that movie where I just couldn't stop laughing, because
was it when he kept?
Yes. It was one of those things where you're like, okay, all right, you got him. Oh no, we're gonna keep going. All right, cool. Let's just keep going. Let's just keep doing this.
When they did the long shot of the parents coming into this, best punchline.
Like, how many times have you seen that kind of, not that scene, obviously, but, like, that point where the parents come back, oh, our night's over, we're so tired, we just want to get the kid to bed, and what are you doing? And it's, and it's not something like, watching Tom drop elbows on people profusely, and it just didn't stop. But, like, even that was set up well enough because of the characters that you have, and some of them aren't with us for too long. And then to quote Tom, some people have a hard time staying dead tonight. And that was another little interesting facet of this movie, with some borderline Lovecraft vibes going on. And, far be it from me, Everybody knows that I'm a slut for some Lovecraft and thoroughly enjoy just having these little wisps of vague evils from beyond our dimension, like just on the other side of a door. Um, I was not expecting to have those in this movie, but it was like, you know what? Let's just go for it. Why the
Mm.
hell not? Um, I think another interesting thing is kind of like, even though they didn't quite match up visually, the the leader of the group that is trying to achieve their nefarious ends on that night, um, his henchmen are straight up like butt rock dudes, for lack of a better word. And if somebody is offended that I said butt rock, I don't know. I mean, they like butt rock. I
I
don't know.
fully endorse the use of the word butt rock.
It's because you like Nickelback.
Have zero shame in saying I like Nickelback. 2024, the tides have turned, my friend, and you won't admit.
I will never. I will double down on my disdain for
Well,
Nickelback.
then I'll just double down on my not disdain. See how that works? You can't be. I'm the king of doubling down. We've established this.
He's single, ladies. Come and get him.
Eligible bachelor right here. I think I used that right now. But yeah, one thing I was glad that they did, because a lot of times with these films you get like someone like Tom and you get the little kid, and they always make them like kind of somewhat antagonistic, but or antagonistic towards each other. There we go. I can't use words today apparently. And as it goes along, they bond. I like that kind of off the bat. These two already kind of bond because she's just like, look, just let me do my thing and I'll leave you alone. He's like, yeah, no, that's exactly what I want. Like, just do your thing. I'll take care of you, make my money, and I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, that's every guy's dream of making an easy buck, is to, especially when it comes to kids. Like, that's one of those like kind of like 80s kind of tropes. Like guys aren't supposed to be able to take care of kids. I'm thinking of like Mr. Mom and things like that. Like, yes, I'm showing my age. I know Mr. Mom. I've seen it. Or actually, have you ever seen Suburban Commando?
No.
Hulk Hogan as an intergalactic commando winds up like, turning into like a cool kind of nanny type. It's really, really funny. Really, really funny. Um,
Okay.
yeah, like, and that's kind of like having this little overlap of like wrestlers who, if you're not a fan of wrestling or you've never watched a single minute of it, like a lot of these people, and the facts bear out in it, like wrestlers are great actors. I mean, obviously, you have one of the biggest movie stars in the world, but once upon a time, he was just a curly haired dude getting made fun of by Chris Jericho.
She asked if you could smell what he was cooking.
And if that was Caleb, it would have been whatever he had for dinner.
Wow. Wow. But yeah, true.
But yeah, like these guys know timing.
Mm.
They would be, and I don't know how much training that Sean Roberts might have done to kind of get a feeling for how to do some of the choreography, like, because there's a lot of his skill set comes from his wrestling moves. Being able to headbutt dudes and the good old fashioned ear slap, like those are straight up wrestling moves. Even including the nut shot he gives, that's a straight up wrestling move. But yeah, I mean, one of the best wrestlers turned actors, the late great Roddy Piper. And I encourage you, if you haven't seen it, to go watch John Carpenter's They Live. Him and Keith David, not David Keith, Keith David, have the
Ever
best.
since I have that information in my head, it fucks me up now all the time.
Keith David, just remember, Keith David is the voice of Spawn. David Keith was the dad in Firestarter. That's really the only thing I remember him from. And I know he's been in a lot of things. But that's the one thing that pops into my head.
Yeah, you make a fair point there. And what I like is that like you said, the way the film incorporates wrestling. Like my history of wrestling was I watched it when I was a kid. I never really kept up with it as I got older. I have actually a lot of respect for that sport compared to most sports in America. I've always hated people like, it's fake, wrestling's fake. The outcome of the game, yes, is usually predetermined. How they get there, they are hitting each other, they are doing things. A lot of people like always point out like Dave Bautista, if you ever knows like his head in his movies, like that's from years of doing an old trick where they would cut their head a bit before the match to simulate bleeding from getting hit so much. Sometimes it was from the moves they were doing, but usually it was like a pregame thing they would do or
Oh yeah,
during the match.
oh yeah. There was always like little tricks guys would hide. Straight razors in their wristbands, or they would kind of cut themselves lightly beforehand and just smear on some Vaseline or whatever to stop it from bleeding. And then over the course of a 10-15 minute match, you get hit with a steel chair enough, you're gonna bleed a little bit. Or you can just be like Mick Foley and just really get whacked and get choke slammed by the Undertaker off the top of a cage and have one of your teeth puncture your lip. And look, it's all done for the sake of entertainment. And going right back to it, like Here for Blood is an absolutely entertaining time. Like I just finished watching it again because I really wanted to kind of remind myself of some of like my more favorite moments, up to and including a first. I've seen lots of movies. From all over the world, across the decades.
You're old at tracks.
That's not what I was getting at, but whatever. I was saying that more to say, I'm a well-traveled student of film.
And old, it's fine. You're older than the Mason on even track.
Yeah, and I'm better looking. What's your point?
No.
Aging like a fine wine over
You
here.
That's what you keep telling yourself.
You are a broke down Honda. Okay.
They get used quite a bit though.
Keyword used.
I'm okay with getting used.
Not in the way you want.
Well, this is the first time for everything.
But what I'm getting to is, I have yet until this movie seen a close up of a grown ass man not wearing a shirt. It's like one of those like frightening things. Like just put on a shirt, dude. Just put on a shirt. I mean, what? It's very unsettling. You're just wearing a leather jacket.
It's
you
like
you have a cod piece. But I don't remember his character's name.
I know what you're talking about.
He's like the main guy, and like when he introduces Tom to the head, he closes the boombox with his cod piece.
I wasn't expecting that.
No, definitely not expecting that, and it's one of those uncomfortable. You're just like, wow. All right.
It took me a minute to realize what was happening.
If that movie had totally failed after that point, I would still have given it props for giving me that little clip right there.
When you mentioned the whole like person being shirtless, I'm wondering why. It reminds me of like that joke in the first Babysitter movie where Robbie Amell's character, when the kid kept going, "Why is he shirtless? Just put on a shirt." Like he kept asking that the whole movie.
Well, it brings to mind one of my favorite episodes of Aqua Teen Hunger Force, where Danzig is coming to buy Carl's house, and Carl's being, or the Aqua Teens are being haunted by the ghost of Christmas future past or some shit. I don't know. And the robot's creeped out by Danzig because he just wants to make the walls bleed and he never wears a shirt. And it's like, that's like the creepiest thing about Danzig, is that he just never wears a fucking shirt. So like having this little ragtag gang of psychopaths in masks, which were actually pretty well done. I think my favorite one was the guy whose masks I'm an idiot. The guy's mask who's upside down.
I was about to say the upside down one was actually kind of like legit creepy. In a movie that's mostly like being played for laughs and having a good time, that was a legitimately creepy mask.
Yeah. And I think like when it like actually turns and you really understand that like there's some really fucked up shit going on, it made it even more scary. And then that gets undercut by like the hilarious over the top violence that's in this movie. Um, you know, copious stabbing, lots of limbs getting chopped off. Um,
I love when he gets stabbed in the foot and like his girlfriend, you're bleeding everywhere he goes. Well, it's not really my concern right now in the moment.
I mean, would you really care if you're leaving a stain on their fucking hardwood floor? Probably not. I mean, if I'm the
Look,
babysitter and the place I'm in charge of taking care of for the night is being invaded, I'm not worried about ruining your china or your fine linens. I'm gonna try and make sure these fuckers don't come in.
yeah, I'm gonna try to keep the kid I'm being paid to like take care of. I'm gonna try to keep the kid alive. I did get a kick in general. Mostly because I always agreed with Tom and his girlfriend be like he handed the kid the knife and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, well, I mean, she has to protect herself. I'm with the Tom on this one. Like, there's psychopaths trying to kill them.
Yeah, and I mean,
And I loved how him and the girl, I forget the little girl's name.
Grace.
Grace, thank you. Him and Grace bonded over how much of an asshole Gil is. That was the one of the best jokes, just recurring throughout the movie.
Yeah, actually, the dad Gil, he's
Is he in Chucky?
yes, he is. He was
Well, and
also
also Colt.
yes. Michael Terrio is his name. He plays the therapist in Cult of Chucky, and
He played the dad in the first season.
mhm.
I can't remember if he was in season 2. It's been a while since I've watched it.
I think he was.
I think he was one of the returning characters.
Yeah.
Don't know if he's in season 3 yet. We only got to see like half the season because of the strike. So, um, yeah, no, I noticed. I was like, "Is that who I think it is?" And I was like, "Ah, nice to see him turn up in here." And yeah, he's an asshole in this movie. I agreed with it. It's a funny joke, but it's also one where you're like, how you're with the characters by then, going, "Yeah, he's an asshole. I don't like this guy."
Well, it's just funny because like you see him initially, and he's just like a big fucking goober, like totally ruled by his wife, does whatever she wants, and only then do you find out, just how sniveling and how much of an ass kiss this guy is to make somebody that's way more in control of things than he is, just like really trying to stay on their side and prove his worth. Just a real wormy dude, and I'm very glad that he he got called out, especially by his own daughter.
Oh, that was great. Oh yeah, and I half expected, as I kept calling him the movie, the one that did the thing with the stereo. I kept calling him Leather Daddy throughout the whole movie because he was never given a name, and he looked like a leather daddy with his outfit.
You have a lot of experience with leather daddies.
No, but I just know about these terms.
He's single, ladies. You might want to help him. Come save him. He's going down a dark path.
It might be too late now. I I half expected him to do something again. I was like, one of these guys are gonna get fed up. We're gonna do something, but what does happen to him again without spoiling it for those who are awaiting the Screambox release? It is satisfying what happens to him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like he definitely like he was basically set up to be like, he's the ringer. He's the guy that's going to make sure everything goes to plan and nothing is going to be left to chance once he gets called in. I did also enjoy the crazy one that came in at one point. Just like, I guess like you kind of just have to have one of those. There's one of those in every crazy, to use Caleb's term, leather daddy gang. So
Now you're talking.
oh boy. But yeah, like there's a nice little moment where Phoebe was trying to stop Tom from taking him out, and he calls, I don't remember what he called her, but she was like, no, smash him. Yeah, just smash him. That's it. So I think I think by that point she had finally understood that
Oh,
there's no amount of
was it horror? I think
yes,
she was called a whore, and that's when she goes, "No, smash him."
yeah, and I think at that point she realized I don't want to keep babysitting for these people. Like fuck them.
Yeah, yeah, they're crazy. I did like the. It was a funny joke. The random hatred. I forget the dude's name that just hated Tom in that group for no good reason.
Oh yeah, that was Barb's boyfriend.
Yeah, because I'm watching going, dude, you're kind of the asshole. Like you're the dick. Like Tom's cool. Like he seems like a nice dude. Why do you hate him?
Yeah, no, he's absolutely a nice guy. Now, probably one of the reasons why he hates him. Like the guy's got a nice car, he's got a hot girlfriend, but like he just has to hate on him. And you know what? I'm gonna call it muscle envy.
It's definitely
That's what it
muscle
was.
envy.
You know?
Look, sometimes you have to admit that sometimes you lost a genetic race. It's fine. We all have different bodies, all have different shapes. I've accepted that. I'm never, ever looking like Tom. That's too much work. I don't want to do that. And I've accepted that. And also, I've heard, but again, that kind of plays up the whole wrestler persona that if the whole like, even though they're these big, big dudes, a lot of them are always kind of called teddy bears. So like they're actually just really big, nice dudes. You hear about with Dave Batista, you hear about what, well, you heard about with The Rock until Black Adam came out. Then a new story emerged. Um, but you heard, Dave Batista, John Cena is another one that people always talk about. Like as big as he is, he's just a super nice dude. I'm not saying they did, but it was nice to kind of see that kind of played up in the movie. That yeah, he's this big dude who should be macho and who should be like, to quote what the kids I guess say now, the Chad type, if you will. But really, he's just a nice guy that just wants to do his job, make some money, and live his life.
Yeah, I mean, and can you really fault the guy? Like he's just there to make a couple bucks. That's it. Probably buy some more protein. Make sure he's got his undies ready for his next match. Like you can't fault him. He's a really nice guy. He's a really good boyfriend. Like he's trying to do right, and there's so many roadblocks that get thrown in this guy's way. And I will tell you this, like, say what you want about him being, oh, he's gonna be a wrestler, but like he does his job and he does it well.
Yeah, and up until the random events that keeps the roadblocks, if you were, for the night, he was doing a great job babysitting. Like when she said she was hungry, guess what he did? Okay, we'll order some pizza. He got the pizza. He was going to leave her alone and play some games where he relaxed. He even tried to go bond her for a quick second and see what she was doing. I'm like, yeah, he's doing everything right. I don't see why this character hates him so much. He seems like a generally nice dude.
It's total muscle envy.
It's,
And look, I'm gonna be the first to admit, if there's a handsome man, I will acknowledge as such. I will absolutely say that. No, I'm not saying you're a
so
handsome man. Not
so
at all.
Henry Cav. I mean, thank you for saying it's me also, but so Henry Cavill.
Yeah, he's a handsome guy.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not the one, and that's why I didn't go sit with you watching Argyle, because I was gonna need a fucking poncho and a goddamn shop vac. Like I did not want to be caught in that onslaught of whatever juices were gonna be gooshing out of you.
I think you told everyone because no one sat near me in the theater.
Yeah, I might have put a flyer out or something. If you see this man in Argyle, sit 10 seats away from him.
This man who may look homeless in his sweatpants and hoodie.
Oh, so
over.
you did go?
No, I went in blue jeans.
I was gonna say that probably would have been a bad idea because everybody would have seen your love for Henry Cavill, but when you were walking in there,
I mean, I saw anyway. That's not the point, though.
at least you didn't have the Dune corn, the Dune popcorn tub.
I don't like that popcorn tub.
Doesn't scare you?
I just don't like it. I mean, a little bit. I don't like it.
You're intimidated by it.
It doesn't look like a fun popcorn tub.
I mean, look.
What if it eats me?
You don't buy the ticket, you can't take the ride. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not buying a ticket.
Life is
I'm
short.
like one of the only people on this earth apparently that has zero interest in Dune 2.
Well, look, hey, you don't have to go see every movie. You don't have to. But I will say, if you do have a chance to go sit in a theater with some friends, maybe pregame in the parking lot. I'm not encouraging that, but maybe you do. If you are lucky enough to have Here for Blood playing in a theater near you, go check it out. Go have some fun, get in there, and get ready to laugh your ass off. Like it's a good time. I can't remember like recently like watching a newer movie and just kind of laughing and enjoying myself. I mean, obviously, we've had some pretty good movies coming out already. Like one of my favorites already off the top of my head is Suitable Flesh. Um, to kind of make a nice little throughway to my love of Lovecraft and whatnot. And that movie was a lot of fun. Um, I do look forward to Joe Lynch possibly tackling some more Lovecraft. I would be all about it. So, I mean, for me, like going to a theater is second to none. Like, yeah, I love streaming. I love having the options right at my fingertips. Um, but going into a theater, sitting down with some friends, watching something, because that was the thing that really set me off with this movie was the trailer. The trailer absolutely let me know that this movie was gonna be a lot of fun, and I was not disappointed. Too many people complain about trailers in general. I mean, you don't have to watch them if you don't want to. And yeah, you do get inundated with them at theaters. And if you go as often as Caleb and I do, you see the same ones over and over. So you're just like, yeah, let's just get to the movie. Come on, I've seen this one already. Um,
Especially when those movies I'm really looking forward to. I'm like, movie, give me a movie.
yeah, yeah. And maybe you just hear me out. You show up a little bit late.
Let's calm down. Okay, we pay for a movie time. We're there, like gentlemen.
Gentleman moviegoer Caleb Leger, guys. Gentleman moviegoer.
And that's my hot tip for the night.
He's single, ladies.
Probably for a while.
Look, I'm just trying to put you out there, man. That's all. Like a good friend would.
Yeah, so to that's actually a good way to kind of wrap this up because yes, I do agree. So, Here for Blood. Speaking of theaters, it comes out theaters this Friday, along with side Screambox, this Friday, both also known as February 9th, in case you need the date. February 9th, theaters, Screambox. If it's playing near you, I know sometimes, unfortunately, with these limited releases, they don't get played everywhere, so you don't have the opportunity. But if you do, go see a group of friends. Hopefully, you get a good, receptive audience. I know, like Josh was saying, some of my best memories, both horror and otherwise, when it comes to movies. I say otherwise because I always think of the No Way Home experience of seeing that opening night. When I got to go see Evil Dead 2013 the night it opened, I had a really huge crowd. Those are some of the best experiences when you get a real receptive audience. I think my most recent one was actually Talk to Me last year. We got a really good audience for that one. But if not, hey, get on Screenbox, check it out there. Call up some of your friends, get a 6-pack, get a pizza, go with the theme of the movie. Have some pizza, have some beer. If you can partake in our activities, by all means, have your fun and enjoy this film. It's a lot of fun. I would easily give it a 3.5 out of 5 of my letterbox. I had a good time with it. It's just a fun movie with tons of great jokes, tons of great gore, and how it ends, if there were to somehow be more of a sequel, also, I welcome it with open arms.
I mean, if you don't have this coming to a theater near you, it will also be available digitally, VOD style. And if you don't have Screenbox, go for it. I mean, I think you get like a week trial or something when you first sign up. So like, go sign up, watch Here for Blood, and then stay for all the other cool shit that Screambox has to offer. Like, I mean, there's a glut of things there, and I mean, they even have their own little like live channels and stuff. And I think one of them might be like Mystery Science Theater 3000 movies. And
I think so. I have to do mine through Prime because I have Fire Stick.
well, you know, that's one way to do it. But that's
They don't have an app on the Fire Stick yet.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I blame Amazon. Amazon always gives these poor guys fucking issues.
But no, like seriously, I really want to again thank Alex and the folks at Screambox and Bloody Disgusting for giving us the opportunity to watch this and yak about it. We love talking about movies, and any chance I get to see something and kind of talk about it prior to, I'm gonna be all for it. So don't forget, as we've said more than once, this Friday, February 9th, Here for Blood is going to be on Screambox, or check it out at your theater, sneak in some beer, maybe buy their pizza that's way overpriced, and
Or if you're lucky, it's one of those theaters like the Draft House or something that does have beer already, and there you go.
well, yeah, exactly. But
Will it be overpriced? Probably, but hey, you got beer.
hey, you know what? Shotgun some in the parking lot.
Hey, at the Draft House, they had one that was like their version of the boot, Texas Cowboy boot, but it's there. Don't know if they have it anymore, but they used to.
That would probably be, people would probably complain about alcohol abuse or something nowadays.
Yeah, probably. Last time I saw it, I was trying to watch a movie, and the dude next to me had it, and he was very rambunctious, which I was glad he was having a good time, but I was just trying to enjoy the movie.
Yeah, I mean, and that is both the joy and the drawback of being in theater. But hey, what are you gonna do? I go there to the theater as much as I can. I take my kids as often as I can. I've always loved going to the theater and seeing movies. To me, it's that communal experience that you're really not going to get, and you do get these really good moments. And I think you're going to enjoy this. Like I said before, this movie is not boring. It keeps you on your seat. So yeah, go check out Here for Blood. I really had a good time with this, and I'm looking forward to whatever else we can get our grubby little mitts on.
Yeah, good, strong start for the year Screenbox. At least for February, and this was February release for them, and I look forward to what they have in store next.